am, so I can kind of hear that.
I think we have pretty good numbers now. So I think if you wanted to take it away, you probably could do that. And more people may come in as you begin, but then you won't run out of time for all your great content.
All right, so we can definitely get this started.
Okay. So one thing I thought would be great, Shakara, is if we could just give a brief introduction for ourselves. I mean, we do it super briefly in the video, but if you just want to share, if we just want to give a informal introduction of ourselves real briefly.
Right. Well, so my name is Shakara Magid, although most people pronounce it as Maggot. And I will be, here's our surprise, I will be a graduate research assistant at Texas State this summer, finishing up research. Mommy! Yes. Okay. Finishing up research studying black soldier flies in livestock feed, and that's particularly cattle. No.
Okay.
And we here. Nova. Sorry, guys. That's what happens when you work from home. Of course. And so me and you actually met at an event Marianne had planned, and that was Eating Insects Athens, which turned out to be an awesome event. And you came and cooked. You actually got to meet Miss Nova, who everyone else just got to hear being all fussy. She ripped her unicorn shirt, so she's pretty upset. And so I got to taste your amazing food and meet you. And so I'm so excited that you were able to do this video with me. And so can you tell us more about Brooklyn Bugs?
Yeah, so hi everyone, my name is Joseph Yoon, and I run Brooklyn Bugs, and we were to raise awareness and appreciation for edible insects. And we've been very fortunate to work with a lot of different universities and museums pre-COVID. And so I'm just really happy to participate in the programming with Black and Ento, and also be able to cook, hopefully, what will be a family favorite for Shakara. We'll see whether or not, how you guys like it.
I just say, Julian just asked in the Q&A, yes, we are recording, and there will be a link posted later.
Super. So should we go ahead and start? Is there anything else that you'd like to add before we start the video?
No, other than thank you guys for the opportunity to do this video and to bring entomophagy into the forefront. I think that kind of gets pushed off as a gimmick, and we don't want it to be a gimmick. We really want people to be able to incorporate insect protein into their diet. And I'm just excited to be here, and I hope you guys love the video.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself, and we'll get started with the video, and we'll also try to answer your questions as we're watching it as well. That's one of the reasons why we didn't want to do a live cooking, because it gets a little frantic. So here we go. Hope you guys enjoy. Greetings and welcome to Black in Ento Week with yours truly, Joseph Yoon from Brooklyn Bugs and Shakara Magid. Say hi.
Hi.
Woo. All right. Well, we are so excited to participate in the programming where Black in Entomology celebrates Black scientists in the field of entomology, which is really a broad discipline, not just in the scientific study of insects, but also that includes everything from pest management, ecology, evolution, molecular biology, technology, medical veterinary, veterinary entomology, food security, and entomophagy, what we are here for. Shakara, could you tell us a little bit about what entomophagy is?
So, entomophagy is actually eating insects, and there are a lot of other countries that this is not taboo. In our Western culture, it is very much taboo. But insects are delicious, and I'm excited to share this cooking video with everyone so that we can all eat bugs.
Yes, I love it. And I am so thrilled that after meeting you like a few years ago that we are here cooking together and I can't wait to get started. Um, so would you like to tell us what we're gonna make together?
So, we are going to make mac and cheese, which is my
With
favorite.
with cricket.
Crickets,
Yeah, that's
of
right.
course.
Yes, the star ingredient. Big thanks to Entomo Farms for giving us the crickets and cricket powder. And so, why don't we go ahead and get started? And we can also learn more about what kind of research that you're doing and stuff. And but for now, why don't we go ahead and start by, I don't know if you started boiling your water yet for the noodles.
Yes, I do have my water boiling already.
Super. So if you want to go ahead and get your noodles cooking, because you can always rinse it out and keep it ready.
Okay.
But let's go ahead and get the noodles going. And I believe my water is almost boiling. Okay, I should turn down my heat again. And also, big thanks to Exo Protein Bars. They are going to be, we have some contests that we're going to announce the winners live later for who's going to win a box of their delicious peanut butter and jelly energy bars. Yes, amazing. So, okay, so let's go ahead. Make sure you set the timer so we don't get too excited and forget. And yeah, okay. And also, to get started, we're gonna make this mac and cheese from scratch because how else do you expect me and Shakira to roll? We're not about to use some box, pre-made mix here, right? I'm not wearing the chef jacket for nothing. So hopefully Shakira and her sweet daughter Nova will like this version that we're gonna make together. So let's start by getting your pan going for the cheese sauce. And let's get the pan going on medium to medium high heat, maybe around temperature 5 or 6. And we want to put a block of butter, a stick of butter in there. And a stick of butter, yep, put that whole thing in there. That's about half a cup. That not about, it is half a cup. And we're gonna let that butter melt down. And once it melts, we don't want it to brown. That's why we don't want it at a high temperature. Once it's almost completely melted, we're gonna go ahead and add half a cup of flour and make the roux. And we want to wait until the butter's melted before we add the flour. And have you ever used a roux before, Kara?
I've used a roux, but not in a mac and cheese.
Okay, well, we're gonna make this super nice. And one of the important things when you have a roux is that you wanna cook the taste of the flour out. So that's why we're just starting with the butter and the flour, and we're gonna want to stir it around and cook that down a little bit so that it is so that it just really tastes like the nice buttery, more buttery than floury to that flavor. Okay, so I cheated and made my cheese sauce in advance just so that I can hopefully give clear and concise directions, cooking directions, so I'm not too distracted because I'm really am so excited to be here and cooking for Black and Ento week. Um, so, Shakara, would you like to share a little bit? I can speak on a large term because I took it off of your bio description on Twitter that you are researching black soldier fly larvae in livestock feed and the ruminal microbiome of cattle.
Yes.
I mean, I had difficulty even saying that. Can you explain to us a little bit about what that means? And if your butter's melted, we can go ahead and add the flour whenever you're ready as well.
So yes, thing is to see if insects can be a suitable alternative to the corn and soy that we feed our livestock feed already. And
I love that, by the way, not to interrupt you, but I love that because the focus of entomophagy is really based, a big part of it is because of its sustainability. And the fact that we're feeding cattle soy and corn that's grown all over the world in the Amazon in rainforests as well, a lot of soybeans, and flying them back for them to eat does not seem like the smartest or most sustainable way to be doing this. So I really love that you're researching alternatives that is a solution to what we can possibly feed the cattle.
yes, and that's my whole philosophy is that at a certain point in time, we are going to have to look and get really creative into alternative sources of protein, whether that's what we eat directly or what we eat indirectly. And for me, although I do love eating bugs, I still prefer a nice steak.
Yeah, right. And you bring up a really great point is that just because we're advocating and endorsing the idea of adding insect protein into our diets, it doesn't mean let's get rid of all the other protein sources by any means. And in fact, this is a big point that I love to make is that even if 10% of Americans were to incorporate insect protein just once a week, like Meatless Monday, even that would have a huge impact on our environment.
Yes, because I'm a full believer and I still love vegetarian things. So there are a lot of times that I might go before the pandemic, go to a restaurant and I'll just order a veggie burrito. That's all I want. And you don't have to cut me out and do that dramatic shift in diet, one thing at a time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what's been interesting for me is that since I've been working with edible insects for the past 4 years now, I've noticed a drastic reduction in the amount of meat that I consume now. And it's been really creative and fun and challenging for me to find ways to substitute my cravings as a lifelong omnivore to how can I satiate my cravings by eating insect protein. And you actually, when we talked about what dish we want to make, and you're like, I love mac and cheese, I was like, cheese is one of those things that actually helps me to eat less meat. It really, cheese, mushrooms, eggplant, tofu, those are type of things that really have helped me to kind of find a replacement that kind of make me feel full, but most importantly with insects, really, to the protein from insects. Hi, Nova. How are you doing?
Nova,
Yes.
my daughter. Are you ready to try some cricket mac and cheese later? You are? Awesome. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. I can't wait to share some with you. Let's go ahead and add 1 quart or 4 cups of milk to that mixture.
Oh, so we got to do 4 cups. All right. Well, it looks like we're going to have a little helper.
Oh wow, that's a big. Is she
All
gonna?
right.
I thought she was gonna pick up that whole gallon of milk, and I was like, by herself. I was like, uh-oh, Mama, she might have her hands full, or you might have your hands full. Shakara, you know, one of the hilarious um, first memories I have of you was when I met you at Eating Insects Athens conference in 2018, and you came and you know I was serving all this different food, and we had this bug bar set up, and it's similar to what I have here, except in nice bowls where I have all these bug samples set up over here. And you came up and we had a dessert bar where you can add bugs to your dish, and you came up with baby notebooks. She was like super young then, like still you know I think she was what, like a year old or something, or less than a year old then. And you know during all the craziness you went, can I have just one ant? And I'm like, excuse me, do you see what's going on here? You just and so I remember getting a spoon and just trying to get one ant for you, and I think I gave you like three or whatever, and you're like, it's for my daughter. She just wants to try one ant, and it was just such a funny and precious memory to think about being requested just one ant, and I hope I wasn't too abrupt or rude with you when I was like, one ant? Are you kidding me?
No, not at all. I so remember that. And then when it came out of my mouth, I was thinking, well, that's kind of stupid that you're really going to ask for one ant.
But by the way,
So
so
much time.
in honor of you guys, here's some ants here that I actually have here, and
Oh, perfect.
you know, interestingly, they have formic acid as a
Yes.
defense mechanism. So, do you remember what it tastes like? These black ants?
I remember it tasting like citrus.
Exactly, yeah. And it's from the formic acid that gives it that citrusy, the tangy flavor from the citrus nuts, which I find fascinating. Okay, I definitely ate more than one. Um, but I did think it was like it was so adorable. I was like, one ant. How am I gonna? And it's hard to just pick one ant out of this. You'll start seeing it come together and start incorporating and start yeah, you'll start seeing it come together because we want to homogenize the milk, the flour, and the butter, and really have it be like a smooth sort of consistency before we add our choice of cheese. I went with a Gruyere, which is a French style of Swiss cheese, almost, if you will. And, well, I guess a Swiss cheese is like, it's like a French style of a Swiss cheese and a little aged white cheddar. Shakira, what about you? What kind of cheese did you decide to use?
I went with Gouda cheese. I love Gouda cheese. Well, I love cheese in general.
You know,
Oh,
as it turns out, your choice of cheese is actually perfect for melting into a cheese sauce, and Gouda is actually, I think, a wonderful cheese for mac and cheese. So great choice.
grated Gouda that
Okay,
I use
super.
myself.
I'm impressed that you or Nova haven't started digging into that bowl of cheese yet. Because when I have grated cheese, I'm always like, I'm like, ooh, don't look. Even though I'm talking to myself in the kitchen, I'll be like, don't look. I'm gonna eat sneak
Um,
this cheese.
um, she already dug into it.
Oh, she, okay, right, yeah. Not surprised. Yes. Well, she deserves all of the cheese. So, um, well, so going back to your research, I'd love to know more about. So you had mentioned that you're going to start feeding the livestock black soldier fly larvae, and what do you hope to learn about the cattle's the ruminal microbiome? Like, what does that even mean? Can you explain some more of that to us?
Yes. So, as we know, or I know, cattle are ruminants. They have a rumen that has it's full of microbes. There's some fungi in there, little amount. but those microorganisms actually help digest their feed that the cow then utilizes. So it's very important that what we're feeding them, these microbes can digest and these microbes can break down. And so that's really what I'm looking at. And I want to look at specifically whether the chitin of insects, so the material that the exoskeleton is made out of, can be broken down by these microorganisms that then produce volatile fatty acids for cows to utilize.
Wow. Did you time it, your phrasing to go off with my timer? I mean, your timing is impeccable. Oh my goodness, wow. I love cheese sauce. I usually make more cheese sauce actually whenever I make cheese sauce. So I can add it to literally everything. It's like, oh, I got some toast. Let me add some of my cricket cheese sauce. Oh, I got some like this. I got some potatoes. Let me add some of the cheese sauce. And like, I just love it, love it, love it.
I really love ooey gooey mac and cheese.
Yes.
Big cheese person. So
Okay, thank you for indulging my cheese fantasies. And I hope that everyone else loves this cheesy action as much as I do. Yes, give me all the cheese, Kara. Yes. Oh yeah. Yes.
smells that awesome cheese, awesome Gouda cheese.
Yeah, no, I do love the Gouda for sure. Oh, I just realized that EXO not only have these energy bars, but they have a very distinctly different flavor than Entomo Farms crickets and cricket powder because of the way that they process it. So if you think about how different bakers might bake bread differently and how it tastes different, even using the same ingredients, same idea. And so I actually use the cricket powder and the two different brands of cricket powder differently depending on what I'm actually making. And while that's all coming together, let's go ahead and think about developing flavor. And so this is really a matter of choice for you, where once the cheese sauce starts coming together and it's really gonna become like just like a nice gooey cheese sauce, which would be perfect. And so what I like to do at that point is give it a taste, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I determine, okay, let's add some salt and pepper to it. If you want to add some garlic powder, some onion powder, maybe some paprika. If you like it a little spicy, you can add some cayenne. And of course, we're also going to be adding a fair amount of the cricket powder to this mixture as well.
Perfect.
So thank you for the cheese, Cam. That's
Like my
this
mouth
is.
is watering already.
I know. Yeah. No. I have done some really naughty things with cheese sauce where I will almost just like drink it. Like, oh man, this cheese. I just can't get over how much I really love cricket cheese sauce, really. Because when you cook with insects, you don't necessarily have to have it be so assertive, right? It's an ingredient. So we want it to be incorporated and be part of the flavor profile and balanced. Because just because you love garlic doesn't mean that your entire dish has to taste just like garlic, right? Garlic can be an ingredient that's essential to building flavors in your food, but it doesn't have to punch you in the face, just like lemon. Like it helps accent and accentuate and build the flavors that you want. And in this case, I think that we can find a great balance with cricket powder that will similarly be a great way to incorporate it, add protein into this otherwise vegetarian dish. And a word that I like to use, ventarian, a vegetarian diet bolstered by insect protein using the word entomo, which is a Greek derivative of insects, and also of vegetarian. So I come up with vegetarian for people who eat insects, like pescatarian, similar to that.
What I've ran across is this gimmick of eating bugs. It's a challenge. It's gross. It's something to be feared, but also like, oh yeah, you ate a bug type of thing. When we really just want to get away from that. You know, you don't have to be challenged to eat a chocolate covered cricket.
Yeah.
You know, crickets are more than that, and they're more versatile than that.
Yeah. You know, you bring up a really great point. And at first I was a little I thought you were saying you like to do the sensational challenge. I'm like, oh no, am I gonna have to disagree with Shakira? Because what we're really trying to do is normalize it and make it like, wow, look, we can add it into our food, like our favorite foods. And that's something I really like to highlight, is that you can literally add it, and that's one of the best ways to start incorporating insect protein. Add it to your favorite dish. You like fried rice? Okay, why don't we add crickets to your fried rice? You like desserts? Okay, why don't we add it to your dessert? There's limitless possibilities, and creativity is all in spades, and you can just find so many ways to incorporate insect protein into your diet. And so when people ask me like, well, I don't know how to do it, it's like, you can just literally add it to your favorite. Start with like what you know you love, and try adding some of it to what you love. How that's soft.
Oh,
Yeah. Yes. Nice, nice, Kara. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add the cricket powder to this sauce mixture as well. Now, so 2 tablespoons of cricket powder will give you 13 grams of protein. That's quite amazing. I mean, for an adult serving size, you want to get about 30 grams of protein per meal, right? Or for 2 meals, like 60 grams of protein. So it's amazing to think that with just 2 tablespoons, I would say for this sauce, we can add up to either a quarter cup, I think is a pretty good sweet spot, and all the way up to half a cup if you want. But sometimes I find that for newer people, because we want Nova to love this dish, half a cup might come off a little assertively different than what she's used to. So I would maybe say somewhere in between, maybe a third of a cup and or somewhere thereabouts. But you can always add more. So if you want to start with a quarter cup and taste it, and then you could always add more.
I think a quarter cup, because you do have to remember that Nova is not a newbie to eating bugs.
Correct.
And he did
Correct. Yes.
the EXO cricket bar, so
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So let's start. Yeah, let's start. Yeah, quarter cup. And then also, we made the cheese sauce and had a half a cup of flour. So we're adding more volume to this. So we also don't want to get it too thick in consistency either. So, but the cricket powder I found like homogenizes really well with a cheese sauce. So I haven't found an issue with adding up to half a cup if you want.
And so this is what the cricket powder looks like, guys.
Yes. Thank you for, yeah.
It smells good.
Yeah. It smells kind of nutty, a little earthy, and if you think about cheese and how like it'll add like another nuance, another depth, another flavor. And so for me, it's like so fun. It's like yeah, it's just like really super to do that. Yeah, it's like just like really scrumptious. It's so scrumptious.
Bring it closer.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh gosh. Okay. So I think it's time. And you know, sometimes I don't mind just dropping the heat and just letting it kind of cook and stirring it around a little bit. But usually by this point, I think that it's going to taste absolutely delicious and really come together really well. Is take your container and add some of the noodles so it comes up to like about 2/3 of the way into your container. And the reason why we're not just dumping the whole thing in there is because you don't know how you want it to be completely cheesy, right? I mean, who wants to eat some dry mac and cheese, right? I mean,
No one.
nobody.
Nobody.
Nobody, right? So I just want to make sure that we have enough of the cheese sauce and that we can really make sure that it's super cheesy, and also with the idea that you might be able to save some as well. So now let's go ahead and if you have if it pours well, pour it, but if not, maybe ladle it, however you want. But let's start adding the cheese sauce into that pot. And if you want, give it one final taste. See if you want to adjust the salt or pepper it all a little bit. Okay, so.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, so have you made a mac and cheese like this before?
No.
Oh my
No.
God, I'm so happy to share this recipe with you then, and I hope it's a family favorite for you guys.
Oh, it's going to be.
Okay,
Because this is
so
amazing.
now I'm gonna start stirring this up. And the only reason why we didn't also fill it up to the absolute top is because we need to mix it in, incorporate it and stuff. A lot of times I just take the noodles and add it to my cheese sauce slowly so that I don't add too much noodles by mistake. And so, but this way you can just, but yeah, you could just dump all the cheese sauce in there because you're gonna need, we're gonna want a lot. Like I actually like it to be super wet because as you bake it, it'll kind of come together as well. So I prefer to keep it kind of wet and not have it be completely dry. So if you can see it's super wet, and how the sun's starting to shine in my kitchen now. I love that the sun is. Yes, do it, do it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, that's awesome. I love it.
Ah,
I love how you're like, you know what? We just need to dump this right
yeah.
right in there. And it looks like you could probably add a little bit more noodles in there if you want, depending on how much you think you and your girl are gonna, um, dig in on the mac and cheese. Now, we have a secret topping that we're gonna add to this mac and cheese later,
Yes.
for the tasting when we do our live tasting with uh, uh, when we do our live tasting.
Yes.
I like to make sure that the breadcrumbs have a little fat in it because it browns better.
Okay.
So if you want to melt a little extra butter, like a tablespoon or two of butter, and I mean we're eating mac and cheese, so let's forget about like, oh, let's not add more butter. Let's just go ahead and do it. And let's go ahead and melt a little bit of butter and toast up the breadcrumbs in a little bit of butter.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Okay, so I am going to add mine to my mac and cheese into these containers here. This is so fun. Is there while we're doing this, is there some more that actually, you said something, or either I read it or you told me something really interesting that the cows themselves aren't the ones that's creating all the greenhouse gas emissions, and that is that right? Can
Yeah.
you
So
can you
that is
tell us more about this?
so the excuse me. So the microbiome of the cattle stomach clearly has this bacteria and fungi, and there's some protists in there, and it's a hodgepodge of different things and organisms that actually digest this. And as a byproduct, they are producing this methane. So the cattle is not actually producing it. although it does, expel it, that's not what the cattle is producing. It's all the microorganisms that are helping to digest and break down this plant-based diet that they have.
I just thought that was so fascinating because prior to you telling that to me, I always thought it was the cattle that was actually producing the methane and the greenhouse gas emissions. But it's not, it's like hashtag the more you know. Perfect. Okay, yeah. So let's go ahead and just add some breadcrumbs in there, and you don't want it quite sand, like maybe like loose sand. So I would just go ahead and pour it in there just so that it covers all the breadcrumbs. You could do more than that, I would think. But yeah, sometimes if you just add the breadcrumbs without adding the butter, it just becomes kind of sandy. But the butter makes it nice.
It's all better.
Yeah, right.
Butter makes everything better.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, I know.
And then just sprinkle this right on top.
Just get a nice even coating on it. I know that I was like, forget all the health. I'm gonna skip the breadcrumbs on mine. not that I'm, not that this is like low carb because it does have the noodles. But I'm gonna let this bake in a preheated 375-degree oven, and I'm gonna finish it off with a special ingredient for our tasting. And yeah, as will Shakira. So I'm looking forward to coming back a lot on live camera with you guys for the actual tasting, so that we can enjoy and eat this scrumptious deliciousness, this cricket mac and cheese. I really appreciate having the chance to make this cricket mac and cheese with you, so that it's like just like, hey, this is like just fun, easy food that you can relatively easy to make at home, and that you could feed your kids and yeah, I mean it's just like one of many solutions that we can do, and one that I am particularly very passionate about.
And it's not only one of many solutions, but it's a small solution. We're not saying that you have to completely cut out meat and just start eating bugs. We're just saying try incorporating bugs in your diet.
Yeah.
Because what frustrates me the most is that I have a lot of friends who are like, oh, if I go on Fear Factor, you're the one that I want to take with me because I know you'll eat all the bugs. And I'm like,
yeah.
No, no, that's not what we're trying to do as entomophagists.
Yeah.
It's for you to have this like Fear Factor type of idea about bugs.
Don't get me started on the things that annoy me about the misconceptions, because we're trying to keep this like positive, right? Because I have a long list of things where people are like, oh, look, I got a bug in my salad, Joseph. Look, I'm eating. It's like, no.
Yes.
No. The bugs that we have here that I'm showing here and stuff, these are all farmed or harvested sustainably in food-grade facilities, packaged in food-grade facilities for human consumption. It's not like the bug that you see crawling around your apartment. And I think that's like a really good point to bring up, and I'm glad you brought this up, is that no, we're talking about very different things here. And so we're going to let this do its magic, and I think that wow, I had so much fun. I think we're good to sign off and do the eating reveal, when we join the live programming for Black and Ento.
I'm excited. I'm excited for everyone to join us, and maybe we can even have Miss Nova come in if she's
I would make that request. Yes, I would love nothing more than to see Miss Nova join us for the tasting. And wow, this is
you.
Yeah, thank you. This has been so fun. Netflix, you got my number, whatever, or like ABC, whoever it is, like they won't be able to get enough of us, Shakira. I'm serious. Hello.
Perfect.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We're ready. I mean, Smithsonian Channel. Who's gonna call us? We'll see. Discovery Channel.
Everybody, Nat Geo, everyone.
Nat Geo, hello. Yeah, they're all like chomping at the bit. They want more of us. Like, we're gonna need to come up with like a band name or something. We'll see. Like, yeah.
We're gonna work on all of that. I promise.
Yeah. We'll talk. We'll talk. All right. Well, super. I had so much fun. You are certainly welcome to dig in on some of it, but just don't eat it all before tomorrow, because we gotta. We should do a live tasting of the hard labor that we did.
I will so try to contain myself so that everyone who's going to join us for live will see a true enjoyment of it.
Yes. Is there anyone that you like to thank or anything as well on your part? Because I mean, there's just so many people that go into supporting you. I feel. I mean, people love you. And I don't know if you want to give a little shout out to anyone. Or
I would love to give first a shout out to Black in Entomology and Dr. Jessica Ware for reaching out and really getting me involved in this. And I've been excited to be a part of it. I think it's important.
Yes.
But I also have to thank my parents.
Yes.
And my daughter Nova.
Yes.
Those are the people that keep me going.
Yes.
And so yeah, and you saw him a little early in the video. That's my dad, tough Vietnam vet who I always gets to bug with me.
Yes. Well, I got a great respect for veterans, and my dad is also a U.S. Army veteran of 20 years, and I have such a great respect for people who serve, really, and so yeah.
That's my little shout out, my family, and also one very important person to me is Dr. Marianne Shockley, and she was my major professor at UGA when I was a master's student in entomology. She 100% believed in me and my research, and she fought with me every step of the way. And without her, I would not be here. I would not be continuing to do this.
Yeah. I have such a long list of people to thank, but I think that you mentioning Dr. Marianne Shockley, who is so dear, our dear late friend, who sadly is no longer with us. And I just remember when we first spoke with one another years ago, when I first started working with edible insects, her enthusiasm and her positivity, her selflessness, and just shining a light on you, on me, on everybody, just being so caring and being such an incredibly beautiful soul, and just really incredible. I am just so thankful for everything that she's done for both you and I, and so I'm really glad that you brought her name up, because what a dear soul, and I will just cherish the all too brief of a time that we had with her. But a lot of love to her and her family. Really, she's a really beautiful, wonderful.
Her son, her sisters, her mother, her father, an awesome family.
Yeah.
I mean, she was an amazing person. The family is amazing, and so
indeed.
I really want people to know that without her, I wouldn't be here. This is a girl from the city of St. Louis, Missouri, studying bugs and livestock.
Yeah.
Couldn't get any more weirder. And she pushed me, and she believed in me, and she was there for me, and I love her.
Yeah. And that's like a perfect bookmark for our future cooking series, is just really the celebration of Black in Ento, Black in Entomology, and for someone like Dr. Shockley to give you the platform and to celebrate you and give you the wonderful opportunity to dream the impossible. And that's something that I'd really like to encourage and emphasize is for anyone watching this is that there are no limits. Like dream the impossible, and without certain setbacks and failures, we'll never be able to pick ourselves up and go even further. And so when there are challenges that I face, and Lord knows that you and I have both faced challenges in our lives, I feel like it's always like made me stronger and be able to like readjust. And when one door closes, many others open. And I'm so grateful that you're going to be continuing your studies.
Because I want to inspire the next generation of kids, and because I do this with my daughter.
Yeah.
Look at me, Black girl in entomology and animal science. Don't ever let anyone tell you that this isn't a field you should go in. You do what you love. Find your passion and do what you love.
Absolutely. I love it. Shakira, this has been nothing short of magical. And I am just so thankful that we had the chance to do this. And I can't wait for the tasting. And I'll see you later.
See you later.
Yeah. All right. Eat the future, everybody.
Oh, heart.
True story. I've never actually done that before. I don't know.
You've never done the heart. You have to do the heart.
I've never made this hand sign before. Actually, you know what Koreans do? We actually do this as like the small finger heart here.
Oh, okay.
It's really big in K-pop, and now like a lot of people who follow K-pop, they're like so when you see Korean K-pop stars and stuff, or like Korean kids, and now other people as well, when they do this, it's like finger heart.
See, learn something new every day.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and awesome, Shakira. See you later.
See you later.
All right, Shakira, thank you so much for participating in the video.
I am so excited.
All right. I'm sorry that I was not able to look at any of the questions that came through. I'm happy to try to answer them as well. But when I was sharing the screen, I couldn't see them. So I'm going to grab my mac and cheese. Do you have yours ready, or do you have to?
Ready.
Okay. I'll grab mine in 1 second.
Okay. Are you ready to see us eat cricket mac and cheese? I actually have some whole cricket in my mac and cheese.
Okay. So for me, I'm going to add a bunch of mealworms instead of the breadcrumbs to the top of mine. And I didn't want to actually bake it on top because the mealworms are already roasted, so I didn't want it to overcook. That's why I'm adding it right now. Okay. So, well, here's my mac and cheese. All right, let's give it. Are you ready for a little
Ready. I
taste
am ready.
test? All right, I hope you like it. Bug appetit.
Yes.
Cricket mac and cheese.
Gotta get some. My Gouda mac and cheese is amazing.
Mmm.
And the crickets, the crunch of a whole cricket is so good. I love that crunch.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm super glad that you that you like this version that we made together.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's see. So let's see if there are any questions that we did not answer through. Is there anything that you wanted to address first? Because you're the star.
No, no.
So
Um, just answering the questions. I see that some people are really interested about the companies
mhm.
where we can get these, where they can get these products from. So maybe let's start there.
Yep. Great, great, great. Um,
I mentioned Entomophagy Farms already, and if you see behind me, we have a bunch of their like cricket powder, and then we have the whole roasted crickets. They have a bunch of stuff, and we also have XO, and they have the protein bars. These are the peanut butter and jelly flavor, but they have chocolate chip cookie dough and so many other flavors. But you know a lot more of the other companies.
yeah. So yeah, I'm so thankful to both Entimo Farms and to EXO for being really just so supportive and donating products for the giveaways. We should also announce a giveaway winner. And we're also gonna try to have some more contests to give away some more Ento products. But I'll also write it in the chat group so that you guys can see. But Entimo Farms have a huge facility up in Ontario, Canada, where they have crickets, cricket powder, and also mealworms. And EXO is based down in Austin, Texas, nearby where you'll be studying soon. And they make the energy bars, but also have crickets and cricket powder as well. Interestingly, the two different companies, they use different feed for the crickets and also have different methods for preparing the powders and roasting, or how they prepare them. So they have very different flavors actually. So that's really interesting, is that just say that you eat a piece of chicken, right? Just say you eat it boiled, I mean, unseasoned. I mean, that's one type of cricket where it could just be roasted plain. And then just say that you cook it in a bunch of garlic and chili peppers and make it really delicious, and add a lot of aromatic flavors to the cricket. Then you have a lot of different seasoned sort of crickets as well. That's possible to have as well. And there's also one of my really big supporters and who I get the majority of all my other insects from. They're called Entosense, and they have really an incredibly wide and diverse group of insects that you can also get from them as well. Um, and yeah, so okay, let's see if I think there were some questions here that are there any insects with a naturally spicy flavor profile? Well, the ants, they're not spicy, but they have the zing and the tanginess from the formic acid, like we're talking about in the video. And so that's zingy. I've never tried anything that has a naturally spicy flavor, but I get my grasshoppers from Merci Mercado, and they have seasoned grasshoppers where they have a adobo flavor and chipotle flavor grasshoppers. So that's part of the spice that you might get there. Do I ever cook with fresh ingredients or only dried, pre-processed? If so, where do you get them? Thanks for the question. I um, I really try to make this as accessible as possible to everyone else, and so I regularly post new types of food that I cook utilizing insects. I don't want people to be able to replicate it also at home. So most everything of what I get are available online from the vendors that I'm mentioning. So I don't regularly cook with fresh insects, but I do get them on occasion. Entimo Farms and EXO, they both send me fresh crickets so I can experiment with them and try working with them. I also work with different scientists that have different insects that I try as well. But for the most part, I do use the pre-processed ones. Um, and let's see, did Nova already try some? Great question. Did she try the mac and cheese yet?
She has not tried the mac and cheese yet.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. All
So
right.
she has not tried it. I was gonna try to get her in on it. If you guys don't mind, I could go get her and see if she would dig into some mac and cheese.
Well, that's up to you if she's around, and or who knows, maybe they'll end up on your Twitter feed tasting with Baby Nova.
Yes, because I do have video of her eating other things.
Yeah.
She tried those whole crickets. She really likes the ranch flavored ones.
Um, is insect tea a thing, like boiling them? So I've steeped insects in my alcohol. Hopefully, Judy, you're over 21. I don't want to, you know, suggest you do something that you know. Um, I have also steeped it in tea. You don't get that much because of all the chitin and the exoskeleton on the insects, so it's not. Um, the powder, however, so the next question, can you use a cricket powder in the same way that you would use other protein powder, for example, milkshakes or smoothies for before working out? 100%, absolutely. And that's really one of the big ways that the cricket powder is used in smoothies. Um, Now, when you try mixing the powder in a tea, though, that doesn't work out quite as well because of the chitin in the powder. So it doesn't like blend into it, and you'll find that the cricket powder will settle down at the bottom. So it's not the best in a plain liquid, but it works really well when you have like mac and cheese and some fat where it can come together in the fat, or in a smoothie where there's more body where it won't just kind of sink to the bottom. Um, Okay, does any like I so those are the Q and A's. I don't know if I missed anything in the chats. I don't think so.
I have
Okay.
not seen anything in the chat.
I will add here, let me type in the names of the companies real quick.
That would be
That
awesome.
um
So there.
yeah,
Oh, so Ashley asked if we have a favorite insect to eat. Um, I personally like roasted crickets. I always explain it to people as it's like eating the whole sunflower and sunflower seed together. So that's kind of my favorite thing to eat and just to munch on, honestly.
yeah,
What's your favorite?
I don't, it's hard for me to say a favorite, but because of the term bugs are the gate, I mean, not bugs, but crickets are the gateway bug. I really, really love to work with crickets so that I can help people think about new ways of how they can use the cricket powder and the crickets in their food. And I also happen to love the flavor of them. But black ants are just so fun. They're really just so fun to have that zingy flavor and everything. Mealworms are very nutty. Scorpions are super fun to eat just because they're really just kind of like briny and like brine shrimp flavor almost. And so it's like really it's really fascinating and fun just to try. And there are, I don't know if we said it in the video, but there are over 2,000 types of edible insects. So it's just really fascinating to be able to try all these different flavors and textures and everything. So it's really amazing, and I just love
Me and you
trying stuff.
still have to we have to make a dessert video. We have to do another video.
Yes.
And I would love a dessert.
Yeah,
You know,
I love desserts and whatever makes people interested, and that's why for me, I love to cook, make American food, Asian food, Mediterranean food, Italian food. There are absolutely no limits to, except for your imagination and how you can incorporate insect protein. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night, snacks. And so I would love to do a dessert with you.
I know,
And
I loved your egg picture.
Oh, yes.
Cricket. You know, I was stuck on that for the longest. I'm like, this is what I want. It looks so good.
That we already got another two videos we got to work on, and it's so fun to record and plan this out with you. Um, so guys, I know we're at the 1 hour marker, but I'm happy to answer some more of these questions. But I guess a really big thank you all for participating. And I know there's some other programming that's starting right now, but we can go ahead and go a little over and answer these questions as well. Would you like to say something as
Definitely.
well?
Um, you have to put a written version of this recipe down. That's what they're interested in.
Oh, okay, right. Oh, yeah, okay. Yes, that's a great suggestion.
And also, there was one, Nat Young. She's running a Facebook Live part, and there was a question that is, are there certain flavor combinations that work particularly well with certain insects? So, say types of cheeses.
Yeah. Um, Great. So absolutely. Um, what I do whenever I try a new ingredient, whether it's insects or vegetables or a new product, I love to taste it. I love to then bake it, fry it, boil it, deep fry. Almost everything tastes good deep fried though, so that's kind of cheating. But I love to exhaust all the ways that you can cook with it because you think about bread. I mean, you start with flour, tasteless, really kind of disgusting if you just think about eating flour by itself. But then you have bread, and then you can grill it into grilled cheese. You can toast it, and it'll have different flavors and profiles in how it's going to taste. So I like to do similar applications, even though these are processed insects. I like to experiment and try them in different manners so that we can explore what do they taste like? What does it pair best with? And so it's really a matter of exploration and I have a lot of social media content that explores food and fermentation and all sorts of different processes with utilizing insects. And I go and talk about a lot of times I talk about the flavor and why things work and stuff like that as well. So yeah, so absolutely, that's a wonderful question. Thanks to I guess we did kind of need a moderator for the to give us a
To
Facebook.
kind of filter the questions and answer them.
Yeah.
Let's see. No, I have not actually tried giant water bugs. Have
I
you?
Yeah, I've tried water bugs, but I generally have stopped because it's so sensational and because it's like a big cockroach looking thing. And so people usually kind of freak out and I found that it perpetuates the sensationalism and doesn't really work towards normalizing, which is what we're trying to do. So I generally have avoided it, but I do have plans to cook it again in the next month actually because I want to readdress that issue of fear and some of the stigmas associated with it. And let's answer this last question, and then I think that to be fair, we should let everyone go and finish eating. I know I want to eat the rest of my mac and cheese. So it's lunchtime.
Yeah.
Do you eat the stinger on the scorpion? I've seen those in lollipops worried about the stinger. I do. I've fed them to thousands of people, the scorpions, both as is and also cooked and fermented. And the venom is denatured during either the curing or cooking process, and so it's totally safe to eat. I mean, I've never had anyone like get hurt or have any issues with eating the stinger. But with Vespula flaviceps and tarantulas and various different insects that may have venom, they do get the venom does get denatured when cooked. So. All right. Well, it has been super, super fun.
It has.
And
Yeah.
Shakira, I am so thankful that we got a chance to cook together and hang out. I mean, who wouldn't love spending all this time cooking with you? Seriously.
I know. This has been amazing. We're going to have to do this again.
Yeah, we will. We will. Yeah.
And
So,
thank you
uh,
all for joining us. This has been so much fun. I hope you guys it really sparks an interest, and you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and definitely keep up with Chef Joseph because, oh my gosh, if you have not seen his pictures of his food, you have to see it. You have
Um,
to.
Thanks so much, Akara. And really, I love the work that you're doing, and whatever I can do to help, I'm here, and I love to encourage other people to support your work and follow along. And great, we'll see everyone the next time.
Thank you guys.
All right, thanks everybody. Take care.